as we were looking at this bracket and kind of digesting what it all means, can you maybe explain what you mean by central bank independence in your mind?
Yep. So to set the stage here, today is the opening day of the NCAA tournament in the U.S., where most of our audience is, but we do have some people tracking in across the globe who are not situated in an office in the United States right now, where everybody's filling out their brackets. We're just one upset away from everybody's predictions turning into rubble here, but. Yeah, I figured we'd have fun with that today and talk about the monetary madness going on while it is March Madness. Um, Everything we're seeing play out in Iran, I think if we zoom out and take a picture of what's going on in terms of the capital wars, and we'll get into that. Um, I think we'll have an interesting way to look at the situation as opposed to, I think right now, if you just go follow on X, the media, etc., it's very difficult to distinguish the signal from the noise. I think where things stand today. So we're going to start out just talking about central bank independence. We hear this term talked about a lot, um, but from a public discussion standpoint, there is kind of a lack of information on this topic, and I think that's naturally by design. So when we say bank independence, what does that actually mean? Well, think about on a sliding scale. It's a spectrum, right? There's never fully independent versus fully autonomous. But what it means if you crank that dial up to the right towards full central bank independence, what you're actually saying is these institutions, which at the end of the day can amount to, if allowed to go all the way in one direction, amount to a monetary cartel, private interests, however you want to describe it, that is not accountable to the public sector. What do I mean by the public sector? Well, think about your developed economies today. We call them the G7 right now. Um, Basically, your allied powers who were victorious after World War II and the framework they set up, and then you've added a few new tag along. So Japan, um, Bank of or Japan, China coming in with the BOJ, BBOC, et cetera. Um, and if you measure that sliding spectrum, each one of these central banks will have achieved a different relative degree of independence than maybe some of its peers, right? So if you talk about on the extreme end, the most independent, and by that definition we mean the most outside of the public sector's purview of the central banks, would actually be the ECB in the hallmark. It's got this supra sovereign, um, you
Right.
know,
It's above the countries. Yeah.
instantiation, right? That's set in treaty, all these things. So you've basically abdicated monetary authority from the sovereign EU states, which, are they even sovereign anymore? Maybe they're semi-sovereign now. Um, but they've abdicated that ownership uh, to a unelected, technocrat, bureaucrat, et cetera, who then has full control of monetary policy, right? When I say monetary policy, we'll get into that, but it really means down to and including this new frontier that is represented in, call it the crypto industry, but it's really this thing that Bitcoin opened up, the new high seas, if you will, of money, greenfield, however you want to describe it, and this key battle going on within each kind of sovereign, nation state. Um, you're seeing it reflected as well in the regulatory approach that's slowly unfolding in this digital assets or crypto, or ultimately down to the studs, to how each of these states treats Bitcoin and incorporates that into its uh, economy, and financial system. So we'll get into that, the U.S. and U.K. here as we unlock. But yeah, just the matchups here. Everybody's kind of familiar. The multipolar world, the globalized order is breaking down, and you've got basically a head-to-head. We got four regionals here: the Americas, Europe, call it Central Asia, East Asia. Those are your primary venues here in this tournament. And I think ultimately what you're looking for here is the champion here that emerges will kind of reset or establish the new monetary order for the 21st century. So um,
Yeah.
stakes are much higher than I think your typical NCAA tournament office pool.